Yo, good morning, Patreonians. Listen, man, yesterday I had a little dust up, so to speak, on my X profile. The 49ers made a rash of cuts and signings and all, and in the midst of that, they released Greg Joseph, the kicker that was competing with Jake Moody. Now, when this first happened, I was in the group chats. I got one with the 49ers Hive guys. I have one with the Nothing But Niners guys. And, I told them straight up immediately. I said, guys, they were all upset. Both group chats seemed to be upset. This wasn't a real competition. Doesn't make any sense. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, guys, it all makes sense if there's unexpected injuries. No, this is BS. This is BS. How do they not have a real competition? They wasted our time bringing this guy in and all that. And I'm like, you guys are missing the really, really big picture here. And that picture is that the Niners wanted this to be a real competition. Brant Boyer gives no F's. I'm trying not to curse. I want to relax more. He doesn't care and has no ties to Jake Moody. He just got this job, and he benefits none by catering to anybody in the special teams unit. So I think it was a real competition. But I'm going to get to this later. I think it's still a competition, even though Greg Joseph is gone. I don't think that this job is Jake Moody's, just so y'all know right now. But I think that, and this is me without using hindsight. I was telling them live and in the moment, there has to be a bunch of injuries, and that one roster spot is valuable. Look, the Niners have one more practice this week, and then they head to Denver for the joint practices. Or they prepare for the joint practices with Denver. I'm not even sure where the first game is, believe it or not. But the joint practices take place. You got to be fully staffed for joint practices. You need more players to finish a joint practice than you do for your regular practices. It's ones versus the ones, twos versus the twos, and threes versus the threes. You don't have the luxury of just wasting time with a kicking competition. That's, by the way, been separated by one kick. Jake Moody was 21 of 24 for the same exact kicks from the same spot in the field in the same situations. Greg Joseph was 22 of 24. Doesn't tell me that anybody won that competition. Not a single person. If anything, personally, I'm going to be more impressed that Jake Moody is a whole new kicking style approach and swing and has only missed one from the veteran. He's only one off of the veteran. To me, that's more impressive. Now, not comparing kicking and bowling. However, when you attempt a new swing of your arm or your limb, wrist angle, ankle angle, the arm, the strength, the speed, and all that stuff, all of that makes a difference in bowling. I'm a person that has a 7-step approach. I've shortened to a 5. I've shortened to a 3. All of that makes a difference. This guy is now kicking off of a 2-step approach. It's a big difference from a 5-step approach. It's a huge difference from a 3-step approach. These things matter. And for you to be one off from the veteran that was brought in to either take your job or put pressure on you, I think is damn impressive. Still don't think that Jake Moody won this, by the way. Still don't think that he won it. The outrage and the upset, the level of festivity that I saw on the timeline completely baffled me. I didn't get it. I didn't understand how people were so irrational and so upset about it. And then, so that was, I'm talking about the timeline. At this point, the whole list of cuts has come out. The Niners are signing a whole bunch of players, and they released a bunch of players. No one's even talking about Isaiah Nair. No one's even talking about how the kid that everyone was talking about was the next coming of whoever. Niners let him go. They didn't care. It was Jake Moody is still here. What? And people were legitimately upset. Then Kyle has his presser hours later, so we get to stew in this and we get to argue about this online. Then hours later, they talk about Isaac Guerrero, shoulder, out for a couple of weeks. Davis, hamstring, out for a couple of the defensive linemen, out for a couple of weeks. Or was it Givens? One of those two. I don't know. One of those two, right? Because I haven't even watched the pressers, guys. I wanted to sit in my own thoughts and bring this to you. The Niners lost a wide receiver in Andy Isabella. They said that he came up limping and gimping at practice from returning kicks, was upset with himself. So he's another guy they're going to have to replace, right? All this shit keeps happening, and we're ignoring it like, oh, we should have kept the kicker. We should have kept the kicker. Are you nuts? Are you guys crazy out there? No, we should not have kept the damn kicker when we have all these injuries. And then there's the people with the mindset of, well, we got enough bodies to field the team. Yeah, that's true. That's true, we do. But it's preseason and joint practices. You have to anticipate more injuries. You have to anticipate getting through to the regular season. And you have to anticipate not making bad situations worse for individuals and their injuries and their little health issues, their dings that they may be having and experiencing. These are things that you, as a team, you have to anticipate. And so the Niners, like I tweeted it once or twice. Can y'all tell me who the running backs are going to be in this preseason game? Don't forget that Jordan Mason's not here anymore. The rookie kid that we just drafted, Jordan James, he just came back off of an injury. Literally yesterday. Just returned to the field. Wasn't even 100%, by the way. Just returned to a field. Y'all think Christian McCaffrey going to get all the snaps all game long? Isaac Guerrero got the shoulder issue. He's done for the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be a bunch of Taylors and maybe Jordan James. Maybe he gets a little bit of action. I'm sure there's names that I'm forgetting about. Abanaconda, he's gone. Right? So we're going to be running a bunch of people out here. No idea who they are. Not likely to contribute to the team. The alternative is running Christian McCaffrey out there for 3 quarters. We're not doing that. Christian McCaffrey might not get a series because we're following a joint practice. And if Christian McCaffrey's getting that kind of treatment, who's a healthy guy in camp, what do you think they're going to do with a guy like Trent Williams? What do you think they're going to do with a guy like George Kittle? Healthy in camp, but coming off a joint practice, these guys aren't going to see the field. They're not going to see significant time. The Niners are absolutely decimated at the wide receiver position. Brandon Ayuk, he's not playing. Juwan Jennings, no extension, he's not playing. And Kyle can come out and say it's a legit injury and all that. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I believe that there is something that he feels like is stopping him from getting on the field. But Juwan Jennings isn't playing wide receiver. They just cut Nayor. Y'all were all hoping to see this kid go crazy. Pads came on, he vanished. Another KD cannon. But my point is, we have to get through. Y'all think Pearsall's going to play all game long? No. No, he's not. Is Cowing even back from injury yet? So you got no Jennings, no Ayuk, no Cowing. You going to run Robinson out there, the vet? That's fine. How long is he going to play? You're going to run Pearsall out there? I'm cool with that. How long is he going to play? Robbie Anderson. Stop me if you've seen this before. This all feels very familiar, right? We've heard this part of the story before. Andy Isabella, who's injured. How many wide receivers is it going to take to get through these preseason games? Coming off of joint practices where starters don't typically play. Feel how you want to about Colton McKivitz. He's the starting right tackle. He's not likely to get significant playing time following the joint practices. Who's lining up, guys? Y'all want Dominic Pooney playing all game? We've already eliminated almost 9 players. I haven't talked about the quarterback. I haven't even brought up the defense. And y'all want us to keep an extra kicker here so that you get to visually see a competition take place? It's the most selfish mindset I have ever seen. I don't get, the Niners promised us a kicking competition. It's been a competition. The competition has been going on. Y'all don't get to see it. But it's happening. It's been happening. It's ongoing, in my opinion. And I think that they're just screwing with him now. You put more pressure on him by doing it now, this way, than cutting him and getting Greg Joseph. Somebody out there said, man, if the Niners cut him, he would get scooped up right away. But they don't have to worry about that if they cut Greg Joseph. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how bad someone out there really wants a 70% field goal kicker coming off of an injury. I don't know. But maybe. But here's what I do know. You release the kid, and now he feels like, oh, okay, I can relax a little bit. And he goes out there and he bombs. You know what the Niners are saying? Greg Joseph wouldn't have done that. And they bring Greg Joseph right back after the preseason game. You know why? Because no one's going to sign Greg Joseph right now. And even if they do, guess what? There's 3 other kickers out there that they can go out there and get to continue to have this competition with Moody. And I do believe the competition is real. I do. But watching the Niner fans just light their torches and gather their pitchforks and start storming town over this, it was insane to me. It was absolutely crazy. I wanted to see a kicking competition as much as possible. But as a person who breaks down pressers, I cling to the words of this coaching staff. I cling to the words of the players. Brant Boyer said, we're doing double kicks. I want them kicking from the same position in the same spot every time. So all of their attempts in our controlled environment were mimicked. Moody's first, Joseph takes the same exact kick. Joseph's first, Moody takes the same exact kick. I think that's the best way to fairly evaluate this shit, right? And that's what Brant Boyer did. You know what you can't do in joint practices? Make them let you make the kick twice. You know what you can't do in a preseason game? Make them let you make the same kick twice. So the fairness of this competition, it goes out the window. Imagine running Jake Moody out to attempt a 29-yard field goal. Then imagine running Joseph out to kick a 47-yard field goal. And despite how you feel, one guy misses and the other guy makes it. You know what's going to happen? It's not fair. Let's say they both make it. Well, his was harder. Let's say they both miss. We don't need either one of these guys on the team. They're going to complain no matter what. You're going to complain no matter what. So keep the competition fair. When we get through this week of injuries, and when we get through this first preseason game, which I'm really, really excited about, by the way. I am really excited about this preseason game. But when we get through it, you can bring Joseph back. You can see what positions you have more than you need in, and you can start letting some of these other guys go. You could bring him in for a workout and have him kicking during the practices. All they did was make a roster move. It doesn't mean that he's not still in the building. Don't be surprised if you see a report that says the Niners worked out kicker Greg Joseph today during our practice. Don't be surprised. Teams are allowed to do that. The roster is the roster. That's contract related. They're allowed to bring these guys in and have them work out. Now, if I'm his agent, I'm like, hey man, listen, you don't want to do that. But if they're really considering you to take the place of Jake Moody, I'm going to be there. I'm already in town. I've been in this hotel room for the last 2 weeks. What's another 2 days? If I am Greg Joseph, I'm still in town for the Niners. And I'm working out with them today as they finish their last practice before going to Denver, or before starting the joint practice. I don't know, again, who's going and who's coming. I don't even know. But that's what I'm doing. And the Niner fans out there, you guys got to calm down, man. You guys are acting like Greg Joseph is this 90% career kicker. He's not. He's not. He edges out Jake Moody in 2 categories. And one of them is literally the difference of a single kick. Who's got the longest kick between the two of them? It's him. He's got 155 plus. 56, 57 yards or something like that. He's got the longer kick. But he misses 10% of his extra points. He's like a 90.2% kicker of extra points. That's wild. Now, it's only 1 point. If you're going to miss one, I'd rather you miss the extra point, not the field goal. But in that 30 to 39 range, Moody dominates him there. That's where they're going to be kicking. I don't care who wins this competition. What I don't want us to do is live up to that 40 whiners name that they throw out at us every time we don't get our way. Because that's what we started doing. I had never seen such irrational, like this was, to me, it was a purely emotional reaction, because logic tells you we need a roster spot because of the injuries. We need to prepare for the double joint practices, and we need to prepare to get through this preseason game. And we can bring Greg Joseph back. He was available for a while. Teams aren't pounding down their doors. How many other teams have kicking competitions going on? One? And that's my point. The outrage was purely emotional. Save that for our overreaction shows, guys. They're coming up soon. We back, baby. We are back. But save it. Don't do it now. It's too early for that. It's too early. I think the Niners are in a good spot, though, for the most part. Those injuries, it's less about the injuries and more about the depth. Preseason game 1 is all about the depth. The starters play the least amount of time. You like to finish the game running the ball, and our running backs are injured. This is going to force a lot of throwing. By the way, my guy Tanner Mordecai cut. Carter Bradley is now the 3rd string quarterback. He's got to be doing something impressive out there. I'm going to talk about all this later on in the show. But I wanted to bring this to you guys exclusively on Patreon because I appreciate what you guys do for me. All right? $20 tier, you guys are going to get this earlier than everybody else. Salute to you guys. Then I'll drop it down to the other tiers later on at some point, and then eventually I'll make it public on YouTube after I do a real show discussing it. But there's a lot to discuss. The cuts, the injuries, the pressers. Patreon about to be popping. It's about to be popping, man. So make sure you guys subscribe. Tier up, tier up, tier up, tier up. All right? If you're watching this on the $1 tier at some point, I don't know when you're going to get it, but if you're watching this on the $1 tier, jump up to the 5. Jump up to the 10. For you 5s and 10s, jump up to that 20, man. Let's get it going. I got something to say almost every day. And these little car ride conversations, they're going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be a lot of fun. I get to get my thoughts off uninterrupted and without having to put any extra sauce on them for the sake of being on the show. If you guys want that sauce, though, pause. Let me know. I got your back. All right? Hey, listen, faithful. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.